The Galactic Federation had long observed Earth with passive curiosity. To the mighty empires of the stars, humanity was nothing more than a primitive species confined to its single planet. They lacked faster-than-light travel, had no significant presence beyond their moon, and relied on combustion-based weaponry. The Federation deemed Earth unworthy of membership, labeling it a low-priority observation zone. However, everything changed when war engulfed the galaxy. The Zarkili Dominion, ruthless empire known for subjugating entire civilizations, waged a relentless campaign against the Federation. Their fleet crushed countless worlds, reducing them to smoldering husks. The Federation, once proud and mighty, found itself retreating. The war had reached the Sol System, a region the Federation had previously ignored. When the Zarkili warships entered Earth's orbit, they did not see a threat. They saw another world to conquer, another species to enslave. Their commander, Overlord Xeris, scoffed at the idea of resistance. These creatures have not even left their cradle. This will be effortless. The invasion began at dawn. Massive Zarkili dropships descended upon Earth's major cities, deploying towering war machines and elite shock troopers. Humanity had no warning, no chance to prepare. At least, that was what the invaders thought. The first mistake the Zarkili made was underestimating human adaptability. Within hours, military forces across the planet mobilized. Unlike other species the Zarkili had conquered, humans did not rely on centralized planetary defense systems that could be disabled with a single strike. Their forces were spread across nations, operating with independent command structures, making it impossible to eliminate leadership in one decisive blow. The second mistake was assuming that humanity's primitive weapons would be ineffective. What the Zarkili failed to understand was that humans had perfected the art of war over millennia. Their weapons, though technologically inferior, were designed for efficiency and destruction. Conventional firearms proved devastating in urban combat, while high-powered explosives tore through Zarkili armor. Guerrilla warfare, ambush tactics, and unpredictable human strategies turned the streets into death traps for the invaders. As the days passed, the war for Earth escalated. The Zarkili expected surrender. Instead, they encountered unyielding resistance. Cities they thought they had secured fell into chaos as human insurgents struck from the shadows. Civilians, far from being passive observers, became combatants, sabotaging enemy supply lines, setting traps, and launching counterattacks with terrifying ferocity. Then came the turning point, the moment the galaxy would never forget. In a desperate bid to break human resistance, the Zarkili unleashed an orbital bombardment on a major population center. The attack was meant to instill fear, to force humanity into submission. Instead, it ignited something far more dangerous: rage. World leaders declared a unified front against the invaders. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, repurposing captured alien technology. Factories shifted production to weapons of war. The full might of humanity, the very thing the Federation had once dismissed, was now focused on a single goal: survival. And for the first time in their history, the Zarkili Dominion felt fear. The orbital bombardment of New York City was meant to break humanity's will. Instead, it ignited an unrelenting fury. What the Zarkili Dominion failed to realize was that humans did not surrender when faced with overwhelming odds. They adapted, evolved, and retaliated with terrifying efficiency. World leaders, once divided by politics and borders, united under a single purpose: survival. Factories that once produced civilian goods were rapidly converted into weapons manufacturing hubs. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to reverse-engineer captured Zarkili technology, integrating it with human ingenuity. Military strategists developed new battle plans, combining conventional warfare with guerrilla tactics that left the invaders disoriented and vulnerable. The first major counteroffensive came when human forces struck a Zarkili outpost in the ruins of London. Special Forces operatives, clad in adaptive camouflage gear, infiltrated the enemy's command center undetected. Within minutes, they disabled the Zarkili's communications, cut off reinforcements, and launched a coordinated assault. Tanks, artillery, and aerial strikes devastated the occupying forces, while ground troops systematically reclaimed the city. The galaxy watched in shock as reports surfaced. Earth was not falling. It was fighting back. Captured Zarkili weapons were modified to be more efficient. Alien plasma rifles, originally designed for the physiology of the invaders, were re-engineered to be wielded by human soldiers. The most groundbreaking advancement, however, was the rapid development of hybrid warships. Engineers at hidden military facilities worked around the clock, incorporating Zarkili energy shielding and propulsion systems into human-built frames. The first test of these new warships came when the Zarkili attempted to reinforce their forces. On Earth, a fleet of Dominion warships entered Earth's orbit, prepared for another devastating assault. They expected no resistance. After all, Earth had no space fleet. They were wrong. From hidden underground bases in the Rocky Mountains, Antarctica, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Earth's first space fleet launched. The ESS Vengeance, the first hybrid warship of its kind, led the charge. Its hull was human-made, but its engines were alien in origin, allowing it to maneuver in ways no Zarkili ship could predict. Human pilots, trained in dogfighting tactics, took the fight directly to the invaders. Unlike the rigid formations of the Zarkili fleets, humans fought with unpredictability, exploiting weaknesses their enemies had never considered. The battle lasted for hours, but by the end, the impossible had happened. The Zarkili fleet was annihilated. As word spread, the Galactic Federation could no longer ignore Earth. The same species they had once dismissed as primitive had just destroyed an armada that had crushed countless civilizations. The Federation Council convened in an emergency session. "This is unprecedented," High Chancellor Vorlon of the Federation muttered, watching footage of human warships obliterating Zarkili cruisers. "Their methods are reckless, unpredictable, and dangerous," another council member noted. "Perhaps," Vorlon replied, "but they are winning." For the first time in centuries, the balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. A species the Federation had once ignored had now become the greatest threat to the Zarkili Dominion. And the war was far from over. The destruction of the Zarkili fleet over Earth sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. For the first time in recorded history, an unclaimed species had not only resisted an invasion but had crushed one of the Dominion's most feared armadas. Humanity had done the impossible, but the war was far from over. Furious and humiliated, Overlord Xeris knew he could not allow this defeat to stand. If the Dominion subjects saw a primitive species like humanity defying them, rebellions would spread across their empire. He needed to make an example of Earth. Xeris ordered the construction of a new planet-cracker dreadnought, a warship capable of reducing entire worlds to lifeless husks. It would take months to build, but once completed, Earth would be obliterated. The humans would never get another victory. In the meantime, Zarkili intelligence units were dispatched to infiltrate human command structures. If brute force had failed, perhaps deception and sabotage could still bring Earth to its knees. Back on Earth, humanity was not celebrating its victory. It was preparing for the next battle. The captured Zarkili technology provided a wealth of new knowledge, and human scientists wasted no time reverse engineering it. The greatest breakthrough came when a group of engineers, working deep within an underground research facility, managed to activate a dormant hyperdrive from a salvaged Zarkili ship. The first successful test sent an unmanned probe beyond the solar system in seconds. Humanity was no longer trapped on Earth. The first human-built warp-capable warships were quickly assembled, smaller and more maneuverable than Zarkili vessels, but far deadlier in their efficiency. Unlike the Dominion's slow, lumbering warships, human vessels were designed for speed and adaptability. They did not rely on brute force alone. They struck fast, hit hard, and disappeared before retaliation could come. With these new ships, humanity was ready to take the fight beyond Earth. The Galactic Federation was now watching Earth closely. High Chancellor Vorlon, leader of the Federation Council, had seen the battle reports. Humanity was no longer an isolated species. Was a rising power. A debate raged within the council. "We must bring them into the Federation," one ambassador urged. "If we do not, they will become a rogue force, and that could be worse than the Dominion." "But they are dangerous," another countered. "They have no concept of galactic law. They fight like savages. Their actions are unpredictable. They defeated the Zarkili, Vorlon interrupted. That alone makes them worthy of our attention. It was decided an envoy would be sent to Earth. But even as the Federation prepared to make contact, humanity had already set its sights on something greater. The first human fleet, led by the ESS Vengeance, made its historic departure from Earth's orbit. Their mission was simple: strike the Zarkili where they least expected it. Their first target? A Dominion shipyard in the Proxima Centauri system. The Zarkili never saw it coming. Human ships jumped into the system at high velocity, striking before the enemy could react. Bombers swooped in, dropping payloads of high-yield explosives on the shipyard's infrastructure. Elite strike teams infiltrated the station, disabling shields and planting charges on key structures. By the time Zarkili reinforcements arrived, the shipyard was nothing but floating debris. The attack marked a turning point. Humanity had moved beyond defense. It was now on the offensive, and the entire galaxy was watching. The destruction of the Zarkili shipyard at Proxima Centauri sent shockwaves through the Dominion. No one had ever dared to strike them first. The Dominion had always been the aggressor, always the conqueror. But now, a primitive species, one that had not even been considered worthy of conquest a few years prior, had crippled one of their most vital installations, and humanity was just getting started. On the opposite side of the war, the Galactic Federation was deeply concerned. For centuries, it had maintained a delicate balance between peace and conflict, avoiding direct confrontation with the Dominion. Now, an unaligned species, one that the Federation had previously dismissed, was disrupting that balance. The Federation Council had debated for days before making their decision. Humanity could no longer be ignored. A diplomatic vessel, carrying representatives from multiple Federation species, was sent to Earth under heavy escort. High Chancellor Vorlon himself had ensured that the mission was classified as high priority. As the envoy approached Earth's orbit, human warships immediately locked onto them. Unidentified vessel, you have entered restricted space. A voice transmitted through their comms. Identify yourself and state your purpose. The lead envoy, a Zalari named Ambassador Azara, took a deep breath before responding. This is a diplomatic delegation from the Galactic Federation. We come in peace, seeking formal contact with humanity. For several tense moments, there was silence. Then, the response came. Proceed to the designated landing coordinates. Any deviation will be considered an act of hostility. The Federation delegation landed in what had once been the United Nations headquarters. Now, it served as the command center for Earth's Defense Forces. A.S. Azara and her team stepped out. They saw human soldiers everywhere, their weapons at the ready, eyes sharp, movements precise. These were not the weak, primitive beings the Federation had once dismissed. They were warriors. The meeting with Earth's leaders was tense. The humans were wary, their expressions unreadable. We are aware of your war against the Zarkili, Azara began. We wish to understand your intentions. One of the human generals, an older man with sharp blue eyes, leaned forward. Our intention, he said coldly. Our intention is to make sure the Zarkili never set foot on our planet again. Our intention is survival. Azara hesitated. The Federation does not condone reckless aggression. If you escalate the war, it could have consequences for the entire galaxy. A younger human commander, General Vasquez, scoffed. So the Federation was fine watching us burn. But now that we are winning, you suddenly care? Silence filled the room. Azara chose her words carefully. We are offering an alliance. The Federation has resources, intelligence, and technology that could benefit your war effort. The humans exchanged glances. Finally, the senior general spoke. We will consider your offer. But understand this, we fight our own wars. We do not wait for permission. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Dominion, Overlord Xeris was furious. The shipyard's destruction had been a humiliation, and now, intelligence reports suggested the Federation was considering an alliance with humanity. This cannot be allowed, Xeris snarled. If the Federation formally supports the humans, the war will be lost. His advisors remained silent. They all knew what this meant. Xeris turned toward a holographic display of Project Annihilation, the planet cracker dreadnought nearing completion in a hidden sector of the Dominion. "We will not wait any longer," he declared. "Prepare the dreadnought for launch." Earth would not just be conquered, it would be erased. Back on Earth, the Federation's offer was under heavy debate. Some leaders saw it as an opportunity for advanced technology and support. Others viewed it as an attempt to control humanity's actions. Before a decision could be made, an urgent message arrived from a deep space reconnaissance unit, the Zarkili. Superweapon had been detected en route to Earth. Its energy readings indicated a level of destruction far beyond anything humanity had encountered before. Humanity had only one option: strike first. The newly formed Earth fleet, now boasting hybrid warships and elite strike teams, prepared for its most dangerous mission yet, a preemptive assault on the Zarkili superweapon. The battle for Earth had been a fight for survival. Now, humanity was fighting for revenge.